Roman numerals are used in the healthcare field probably at an increasingly decreasing rate, which sounds odd, but they're used in the apothecary system, which is still used in some places and sometimes, and it is still to be included in courses. The good news is that we only are using grains instead of drams and minims for other sources, but let's review. So the Roman numeral SS represents the fraction 1/2, and it's the only fraction that we'll use in the healthcare system for this class in Math 121. Otherwise, it requires knowledge of the Dewey Decimal System. Then we have a capital letter I, or lowercase I, which represents the number 1. We have the letter V, which represents the number 5. X is 10, L 50, C 100, D 500, and M 1000. So interestingly to note, so you know the terminology, as I draw the chart here, these are obviously our Roman numerals. The numbers that we use are referred to as Arabic numerals. There are a few things to remember. We want to put our numerals in decreasing order, so from large to small. If we needed to say 1001, we would have 1000 plus 1, so notice we're decreasing. 1000 is M, 1 is I. So we have the Roman numeral MI. So we usually want to go from largest to smallest, and we're just adding the value of the Arabic numerals as we go up. We cannot have more than 3 things in a row. So right now, if I needed to say the letter 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or the number 4, that's incorrect. What we'd have to say is, well, we need 1 before 5. So 1 before 5. And in order to do that, we would say Roman numeral I, Roman numeral V. So 1 before 5. So if we have a smaller number and then a larger number, it's our subtractive property. So really this is represented as 5 minus 1. We can only take one numeral away, so one numeral can go in the front that needs to be taken away, and it has to be within 1 or 2 spaces. Right? We can't, if we had 999, we wouldn't be able to say, well, 1 before 1000, unfortunately. So what do we do with those larger numbers? Right? If we had to take 999. Oh, more room, so the chart's still here. If we had to do 999, we would simply break this number up. And it's much easier if we think about taking the numbers and breaking them up. So this number is 900 plus 90 plus 9. So we could think of this as 1000 minus 100 plus 100 minus 10 plus 10 minus 1. And a lot of times as you do these, you'll just start to see them. It will be, you won't have to write it out as 1000 minus 100, etc. So because we need to take something away, we're first going to find out what 100 is. 100 is represented by the numeral C. I remember that as century. So we'll have C before 1000. 1000 is M. I remember that from millennium. And we're able to do this because if we notice, we look, C is 1, 2 spaces away, right? There's no more than one space, one other numeral in between them. Now we need to look at 10 before 100. 10 is X, so 10 before 100, which is the C again. And then we need to do 1 before 10. So we know 10 was the X, 1 is represented by the letter I, so I, X. CMXCIX. If we needed to go backwards, we could easily do this. So I'm going to use the same numerals because they're here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the value of each of these numerals and just write it in Arabic form. So C is 100, M 1000, X 10, C 100, I 1, X 10. So the first thing I notice as I'm looking at this is I go from 1 to 1000. And remember the rule, we needed to decrease. So because we have a smaller number in front of a larger number, this tells me I need to subtract. So again, I can think of this instead as 1000 minus 100. Okay, breaking the values up. 10 to 100, we're getting larger again. Because this is smaller, we need to subtract. So we have 100 minus 10. Break up into our next digit because now, right, from 100 to 1, it seems like we're going in the right direction. 100 is larger than 1, but as we continue, that doesn't hold true. 1 is less than 10, we need to subtract. So 10 minus 1. And we can put our numbers together. 900 or 1000 minus 100 is 900. 100 minus 10 is 90. 10 minus 1 is 9. These all get added together. You have 999. All right, so let's look at another couple of examples here. If we have the number CDIV, again, I'm going to break the numerals out. So C is 100, D is 500, I is 1, V is 5. So notice as I'm looking, 1 to 500, we got bigger. So we're going to subtract. 500 minus 100 is 400. We move to our next. 500, 1. All right, we did go down. But as we continue, 1 is smaller than 5. We need to subtract again. 5 minus 1 is 4. These get added together. This Roman numeral is 404. Let's take L, X, X, V, I. Again, just write our Roman numerals out. L, 50, X, 10, X, 10, V, 5, I, 1, I, 1. We check out the value of our Arabic numerals. 50 is greater than 10, 10 and 10 are equal, 10 is greater than 5, 5 is greater than 1, 1 and 1 are equal. So this is great. All we have to do is add up our numerals. 50 plus 10 is 60, plus 10 is 70, plus 5. Sorry about that. 50 plus 10 is 60, plus 10 is 70, plus 5 is 75, plus 1 is 76, plus 1 is 77. And if we needed to take the Roman numeral 1294, we're going to break this up. We have 1000 plus 200 plus 90 plus 4 and form our numerals. So we have a Roman numeral that represents 1000. It's M. We have a Roman numeral not that represents 200, but we could do 2 C's for 100 plus 100. 90 is 10 before 100. And 4 is 1 before 5. So M, C, C, X, C, I, V. Put them together. M, C, C, X, C, I, V. This is equivalent to 1294.